And from the altering climate of Croatia, we journey further west, further west. Standing upside down. We're at Maggiore West for one of the more traditional venues. Now, been pretty good with our calendar for a good couple of years now, and a familiar surroundings, but not so familiar surroundings for the Alfa team, who have managed to romp it a few years previously. Renault, however, doing their utmost not to pack it in come season's end, and mission statement from Nico Wirtz getting on pole and front rowing it with Henri Bianchi as well. Nice sunny atmosphere, crowd in presence for both these and the European races, and the Alpines as well. Hence Katzberg doing well on P4, being stuck between the two Hondas there. Adrian Michael then set for race 1 alongside Michael Swinnerton once again. How are we, sir?
Good, good. Looking forward to this one. Maggiore always provides a bit of fireworks here and there.
We shall see how well that Honda, privateer Tamiya Honda, holds up when those BMWs behind them get off the line quicker, perhaps. It's a front row locker for all 6 slots, but those BMWs are already making their presence felt. But it's a Renault into the lead, Zanardi down the inside, but it's 1-2 whole shot, but this is a tight, twisty section here. Katzberg not losing P4 then, but Kubica showing how well he's been doing and progressing, getting up to 4th place already, swarming through the back. Those Alphas did not get off the line that we expected of them. BMW did a better job of that, so it's Wirtz leading, heading to the waterfall. The traffic jam, no doubt, to be side by side all the way through that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's easily done just to miss the setup miss the setup on the car and get a bad qualifying effort, and you find yourself here in the mid pack. But they're doing something about it. They're still in the points. Wittmann there is currently 10th place. I know we're a ways away from the race end so far, but that would be pole for race 2. So if she can maintain that, then she could potentially get a race 2 win, or try and move up the grid a little bit further and get some more points.
Ralph Bieler doing well in that other Tamiya Honda. The Alpine prowess, knowing circuit knowledge around here. Those Alphas might have done a good 1-place gain there for both of them. Fisichella there in 9th, being held up by Lammers. Through the final bend they go.
Yeah, the Hondas are running much better this year. They've clearly worked something out with that car, both the 2 Works cars and the 2 Tamiya cars. They've come out the gate swinging, which is nice to see. Katzberg holding his own in 5th. He's got Palou behind him in the Ford. It's the Sloan solo Ford here in the top 10. Meanwhile, we have a squabble for 7th place. Webber has it. Lammers wants it. Fisichella not that far behind, ready to pounce just in case it all goes wrong. Give a little wiggle through the S's. Looks like Webber's going to have the momentum.
And it looks like Fisichella has as well. Very good sector from him, but will the rest of the lap hold up? Down the inside of Webber he goes. Will he get the inside line for the waterfall? We've seen plenty of cuts before. We've seen plenty of aggression before as well, as Lammers gets hit by the Italian in the Rosso Corsa.
Trying to get a 2-for-1 offer there. You could also see just the lack of straight line speed the BMW had. I don't know whether it's slightly down on power or whether it's got a lot of downforce cranked onto it, but Webber had the better run out the corner and then had both cars try to overtake him, and now he's going to lose another spot to Wittmann. So the beam are not necessarily working as intended around here. They're going to have to work on that one.
Scraping into the top 10 by sheer determination. Then Volvo not looking so rosy around here, but these points are forming lap by lap. He's just had a massive gain on Wittmann, then some smoke, some dust perhaps.
Gave her a little hurry up.
And that helped her get past Webber.
There we go, Wittmann up to 9th, Fisichella up to 8th, Lammers up to 10th. Webber, the big loser there. Is he going to be able to retain the 10th place spot, or is Ingram in the Volvo going to nick that off him?
And it's still Renault 1-2, and it looks like Renault have long since departed the front of the field. They're off on their own. They really want the championship this year.
They've clearly worked something out regarding this circuit.
So it's Zanardi in third, holding the rest of the pack up then as they exit the waterfall, slaloming up to the rabbit ears. Not necessarily holding them up, there is a decent gap. Kubica still fourth, Katzberg a solid and surprise fifth, but no surprise if you're an Alpine follower via the showcase. You've seen the races online. He knows this circuit. Wirtz then, you're actually not that far behind.
Just nice, neat formation flying by the two Renaults here. Just holding their own, hitting the marks, just clicking off the laps.
And this will guarantee a P10 and P9 row 5 lockout for those two if all goes well. There's Kubica then, doing BMW as proud as they can be. Zanardi also being a very good second seasoner in his first outing in the Honda around here.
Yeah, Zanardi has really come on really well after appearing in the championship last season with the Cobra Motorsport Ford, getting the call up to the big leagues here in the works car, and he's certainly not disappointed so far. Last round's massive wiggle at Croatia notwithstanding, happens to the best of us. There's a drag race, Lammers and Palou. Lammers going to nick that position off the Ford into the waterfall, nice and clean there. So Palou now starting to drop back, maybe that Ford is starting to just misbehave a little bit.
The two Alphas then through Rabbit 1 as the big gust of wind just sort of rattles our windows a little bit. There's Palou then 7th, not necessarily chasing up Lammers there.
I think Palou is now on the defence mode. He's just lost the place to Lammers, and now he's got both Alfa Romeos breathing down his neck. He's going to be looking out of his rear window, or his rearview mirror, rather than his windscreen a little bit. Ingram now with a run on Webber, see if he can make anything into turn 1.
After the late breakers then, well behaved from the Volvo driver, the defending champion. We've had this known that BMW have not necessarily shoddy brakes but questionable. Biela then falling back to 12th because of Ingram's form. Zhou Xiong then in the red flag car doing quite well for the privateer lot, holding up Ekstrom in the other Volvo of course. And then a surprise of the DHL's straggling. Not their usual position, not their usual hobby of finishing last.
Yeah, they had a bit of a torrid up and down year last year. They expanded to 2 cars, and I don't really think that's done them any favours, if I'm being honest. And they had a couple of good qualifying results last season, and a couple of good finishes, but it was mostly forgettable, unfortunately. Not what we're used to seeing for that DHL team, so they've got a lot of stuff to work out over there.
Since they put the support paddock up before the exit of the slalom, that attempt used to be a really good diving overtake spot, and I think the risk of not being able to see where you're going because of the big sort of verge that's been applied there prevents a lot of the overtaking from happening. You have to be very brave, like Lammers is down the inside of Katzberg there.
He's all over the back of that privateer Honda.
Honda trying to make a statement and doing much better than they have been last season. But then again, all for naught. If Palou finally gets into gear down the inside for turn 1, Alfa showing presence but no effort.
Yeah, Palou got that run because Lammers had to back out of the overtake attempt on Katzberg, gave him horrible momentum down the start-finish straight. He's going to have to build it all back up again, but he's been on the aggressive, he's been on the attack. That car is working well for him, and we can already see he's pulling a gap from Palou and catching back up to Lammers. So this fight is not over yet.
this is going to be best of the rest, then we may as well just say that Renault have got this locked in for 1-2 this race, and this is the battle for pole as we see it. Ingram will want some more points, no doubt, and so will Alfa.
Ingram's got himself past Webber. We missed that. Salo and Beeler are still having a little squabble for 11th.
And if Honda are going to have to make a statement to try and get the championship, moves like this one politically down the inside of Katzberg, challenge
Not quite back out of it again.
These two Dutchmen are having a bit of a battle, and some of the crowd wearing orange for obvious reasons are going to be very much entertained by this, but back in HRC Mugen territory, they're going to want a word.
Well, technically, it is a every car for himself, every driver for themselves situation, but there is always that underlying politics. Lammers tries it again. He's going to be on the outside for turn 2. Can he hang tough around there? He's almost managed it. He's definitely the faster car. He just needs to find a way past at the minute.
Both in arguably equal machinery. Visibly, they are identical.
And does get a little bit
mechanically,
more
it looks like they're on equal terms. But then again, driving prowess of Lammers down the inside for the waterfall. But is Katzberg going to want to have a better? Well, he's been pushed there, so that means signed, sealed, and delivered for now.
Yeah,
Palou and Fisichella still close.
I expect Lammers to start pulling away from this train, and Katzberg to now have to
We've missed Ingram as well.
A battle with Palou. Yeah, Ingram's managed to find his way past Wittmann somehow in the background. He's working in the shadows here. It's the stealth Volvo.
But we can see it anyway. The defending champion then wanting to make more of a defence this year. And there's one right there. But Fisichella done and dusted as well.
Finally, very opportunistic move.
Volvo in the groove.
He's not taking any prisoners in that car. Is he going to go around the outside of Palou? No,
almost.
He's going to push Palou down the start-finish straight instead. Interesting choice.
Bit of slip, watch the front bumper there, bit of damage, no doubt.
Not enough to be a problem. He won't have cracked the radiator or anything. He just pushed Palou past Katzberg into turn 1.
Not a political statement whatsoever. That was more of an aggressive statement. And of course, that Ford would want to be ahead of a privateer Honda, no doubt about that.
Let's see what he can do to Katzberg going down the straight here. Pushes Katzberg now. Okay. Ingram has decided he's pretending to be at Daytona instead. Are we going to see any fireworks into the waterfall? Not this time.
He does like that discipline of motorsport, but around here, turns like that, thin on the ground.
Not really many opportunities for it. Maggiore is not quite the same kind of circuit. Gets alongside through here, backs off, lifts. Katzberg has the bad line through there, so he's lost momentum. This is going to be...
The momentum he had is gone. No doubt about that.
Yeah, Katzberg's starting to fall back now. I mean, he's still putting up a good fight. He can be proud of that qualifying result, but at the end of the day, you are a privateer car, and you are going to be struggling compared to these cars around you, unfortunately. It is the way it goes.
We're beyond halfway, and those Renaults are likely to be lapping the tail of the field by the end of this 15-lapper. Those Renaults are flying. There's no point looking at them. We know who's going to be 1-2.
Speaking of flying, Ingram just ran the outside of Palou at the last corner there. Got the wider line and the better run. So he's now chasing off after Nicky Lammers. Alfa Romeo Civil War here.
And then another rear-wheel drive behind Webber wants also to make a statement. BMW, so much of these at the front of the field before. It is the revenge of the front-wheel drive cars this season, no doubt about that as well.
Wittmann with the overtake on Fisichella there, using all of the sausage curb and doing a little bunny hop for extra style points.
That's the need from Weber. No curb. Could have done. Would that have put him in the rear end of Fisichella's Alfa though?
Holding station for now. The BMW's lack of straight line speed not really hurting it at the minute. He was able to keep up with the two Alphas in front. Can Wittmann now catch and pass Palou with 6 laps to go, 6 and a bit laps to go? Both very similar on their lap times, so it might be a bit of a tall order for the Green Goddess there. Oh, and Fisichella with a dive.
Fisichella with the brave one. They're still side by side. These two, okay, then fair enough. I'd have thought that from the perspective on that. Through Wittmann's momentum out then, no doubt. So Fisichella's got one up there.
He's got the position back.
It's been more in favour of Fisichella this season, but overall, hard to say if that's actually prevented Alfa from actually doing better overall. It's still early days there though. This is still, you know, race 7, we're at round 4, and they have managed to perform better towards the end of it, and as have BMW in the past as well. Ingram up to 5th then. We saw him get ahead of Lammers.
Yeah, he's now in front of Lammers, so he's definitely on the warpath here. Can he catch Kubica and Zanardi in time, I wonder? Is that going to be too big of an ask?
I think that's going to be a less of an ask than getting the win in, as those two Renaults just almost perfection. Bianchi with the fastest lap, then just getting the slip from Nico Wirtz in the lead. As will Kubica get the slip on Zanardi here. But the brakes on that BMW, will there be evidence of that? Yeah, if that was better, I think he would have been down the inside. And Zanardi, the local, keeping some of the locals happy. Obviously, they'd prefer it if it was an Alfa, because Zanardi could easily be, you know, French for all they care in that Honda.
He's still running well. He's still representing. As we've said, he's still absolutely exceeding expectations from being in his 2nd ever season and his first with a manufactured team. He's got a very good slew of results to show for it so far. Pulled away from Kubica slightly, so that fight is on pause at least. Ingram now in clear air. Lammers in clear air. Katzberg has managed to make a bit of a gap to Palou. So it's really Palou versus the Alfa Romeos that's the actual main fight at the minute, with Webber just stalking in the background there.
It is nice to see Ford. I mean, as perspectives go, this is their average. They're doing well, but Detroit will no doubt want to see better from them in future. There was a risk of this Works team being pulled entirely from the World Championship to run their main focus in America. Doing well so far over there, but this is the big game, and mind you, we've just seen Katzberg go ahead of Lammers again.
Yeah, Lammers suddenly dropped off the speed. Maybe he burnt his tyres out a little bit too quickly with that early run of aggressiveness.
Yeah, and that's a meme, a token of touring car performances of old, that the tyres don't burn out that often these days. A trope, if you will, that if you do well, you're going to be killing your tyres. If you keep them conserved, will you be performing well by the end of the race? Not so for the Renaults at the front of the field, that they're clearly not burnt out. No one is near them, and cloud cover starting to come in. we've got the radar here. We know that it's not going to start raining. Even if it did, I don't think they'd be coming in for tyres anyway. Psychological rain would be the main course.
Yeah, even if it did rain now, it wouldn't be enough to get the track wet enough to warrant putting a set of intermediates on. Lammers now looking to take 6th place back off of Katzberg, so it might have just been a temporary wiggle.
Yeah, so there's the slipstream, but the move early on
telegraphs it. He's already alongside going into turn 1. He's a bit tentative on the brakes. That allows Katzberg the apex. I'm not sure that was the smartest play, but either way,
maybe a bit too much respect, but
avoids contact.
Still these 3 laps to go, 13, 14 and 15. So the assumption that the 2 Renaults are going to lap the tail end of the field, I don't think that is going to happen given the roadmap that we see at the top of the screen. Here's Lammers then. Waterfall inbound, down the inside already, but is Katzberg going to be brave enough to do the switchback? No.
Didn't quite get the momentum there, unfortunately. So back to as it was. Lammers in front, Katzberg behind.
Blue still holding up Fisichella. Webber was threatening Wittmann a couple of corners or a lap ago. Still not getting pole at this rate. Alfa front row, potentially locals will be happy with that. But what if Renault are going to swamp the front of the field for race 2? We shall have to see.
Given that the speed that they're demonstrating here in race 1, that could well be a reality. Of course, they'll have the traffic to fight through.
And the very rarely seen double to contend with. Here's 3, 4 and 5 then. Zanardi, Kubica,
Ingram. Kubica and Zanardi. So this is now a 3-car fight for third. Zanardi has done very well to hold off Kubica. Kubica with a lot more experience around this track thanks to his time in the European Super Touring Championship and his championship run in that series.
His tenureship as BMW Junior, this is paying off, and the education from privateer form last year. Oh, Ingram with a bit of a bump then.
Ingram thought about a move and then thought better of it and then had to jump on the brakes. Gave Kubica a bit of a shot through the corner. Fortunately, that's not really messed anybody's day up.
Lap and a half to go then for this lot. The Renault's already on their final lap. The director's done a good job of not focusing on those 2 leaders because nothing's really happening at the front of the field. It's all happening mid-pack. Though there goes Fisichella. We see more action then. Rabbit 1, Rabbit 2, and there we go.
I think Fisichella will now breathe a sigh of relief. He's not looking at the back bumper of that Focus anymore.
But is that going to ruin the spoils of an Alfa front row pole position, rather, if Weber, with one of these moves to go, turn 1 or the waterfall, the likely assumption, and a bit of damage as well.
A little reminder that he's there. Weber has never been one to shy away from aggressive behaviour.
Ekstrom, a late lunge up to 12th, points inbound for both Volvos then. Ralph Biela falling back, having qualified well in that Tamiya Honda. Salo not doing Ford any prouder than 2 points. And Polo's former team getting point number 1 by the end of it. And we've seen the Renaults cross the line. Not so much fanfare amongst the crowd, but the Renault paddock obviously overjoyed with that. But this is the battle of the race then. Zanardi, Kubica, Ingram fallen back a little bit. Podium might not be on the cards then, that we assumed was a bit of a tough ask. Proven right, no doubt then. But
even so, you'll be happy with that result. He qualified outside the top 10 to get himself up to 5th. That's nothing to sniff at.
Sensible amount of points then. Zanardi fending off then, as we see Oh, mind you, there's an Ingram charging on Kubica then. There's a fourth here, potentially. Powering through on the exit. It's too late. Kubica gets fourth, but this is a swamping battle. Lammers ahead of Fisichella, getting ahead of Katzberg by the end of it. But as Lammers... Oh, we thought Katzberg snuck through for 7th then. Wittmann getting the pole. Might not be the best answer, but the Italians will be happy with that. The locals will be happy with that. Zhou then did manage to fall back, and blimey, Privateer DHL's plumb last, both of them. No stragglers, because, well, technically, P's positions 3 to 18, as Renault were concerned, were in fact the entire stragglers. That is something we didn't expect, and we certainly don't expect Renault to fall from grace anytime soon. Then that was a magnificent display of Renault power, McGann handling, but a decent battle nonetheless to keep the rest of us entertained. Not necessarily a quiet one at all there, Sonny.
No, there were a couple of little light shunts, light bits of argy-bargy. This race really just showed that when Renault get it right, they are terrifying.
Boy, do they get it right. Boy, do
but
they get it right.
Unfortunately, they don't get it right often enough.
We shall have to see for race 2 and, of course, for the rest of the season. We'll be having a complimentary break now. A good weekend of racing in store for the locals. And that means tomorrow is race 2. So a sizable break before we come back then. And we shall see what reverse grid brings us, especially if Renault have set out their stall. We'll see you for race 2. Good racing, everyone. Race 2, reverse grid time, and a very rare occurrence. In fact, it might be the first time it's happened in the World Championship. Given that the Renaults are on row 5 because of the reverse grid rule, given how dominant they were in race 1, can Nico Wirtz be the first driver in World Super Touring history to get the very rare double? Had it been traditional results of race 1 become the grid for race 2, it might have happened a lot more frequently, but very rarely has it happened in the format. We've seen it in Europe. Liuzzi had done that. Michael Swinton, I don't know if some people remember this. I can't remember the car he was driving though. Gianni Liuzzi was in the Euros and got a double there because of how quick and dominant his... I'm pretty sure that was a Hyundai, wasn't it?
It was the Works Hyundai Genesis before they pulled out the championship. That was on his run to, I think he got 4 wins in a row during that time. So he got race 2 of the previous round, he got both wins at Deep Forest, and then he won the first race at the Nürburgring, and that catapulted him to a championship, which is why he's on this grid here in the PKP BMW.
So all that stands in Nico Wirtz's way is his teammate and local support for the Alphas on 1st and 4th on the grid, given they were 7th and 10th in race 1. The sun is setting on a fantastic weekend here at Maggiore once more. One for the road. Off they go. Alpha's already flying away. BMW flying away as well. The front-wheel drive struggle is evident there as Katzberg, having done well in race 1, gets a good start in race 2. Glare off the cars through turns 1 and 2 then. Alfa already flying away. Renault not exactly in the best positions. We've seen that so many times before, but there's another 15 of these to go. Bianchi down to 11th, so they've slightly fallen back already. The DHL cars at the back of the pack with the Cobra cars. Ingram and Ekstrom then. Okay, this is where they earn the money. good gain already, but they had to lift off then for the waterfall. Here's the onboard of Nico Wirtz then. 8 more places to gain, and Ingram almost lost it there.
Yeah, there's been quite the scrum at the beginning of this race.
Ooh, Webber's on the
with the
inside,
hero move.
brave.
Webber's sending it. Yeah, they're all being very scrappy so far.
Webber's got the message. Hold those two up for.
I don't know if he'll be able to do that because we saw the lack of straight line speed in Webber's BMW again. Nico Wirtz already on the attack. Sends it into the last corner. Sends it too hard.
Wow.
Webber gets the changeover. Bianchi follows through. That was 1 step forward, 2 steps back for Wirtz. He's going to have to pick himself up and get back going again.
The entertainment factor is ripe here already in lap 1.
Bianchi not wasting any time. Now he's trying to get around the BMW of Webber. Webber once again not making it easy, but I think that's going to be hook, line and sinker. So Bianchi now up to 9th.
After lap 1 then, it's an Alfa 1-2. It's the Green Goddess leading. Fisichella, Katzberg's up to 3rd.
Katzberg. Kubica had the hero move, taking it 3 wide, turn 1, lap 1, but Katzberg has managed to see that one back. Webber once again getting out-dragged by the Renault. Nico Wirtz making that look easy. There's Ekstrom just with a front row seat for the proceedings. Webber with another switchback. Wirtz is, I think he's being too impatient here, and it's hurting him. He needs to calm down a little bit and measure those moves out a little bit more. Meanwhile, Bianchi already around Zanardi's Honda. So Bianchi's on the warpath, overtaking cars like there's no tomorrow.
So if Wirtz can't do it, Bianchi's there to pick up the pieces. It might not count as a double, but it'll be good enough for Renault, no doubt about that.
We've seen plenty of rounds in the sport's history before where it's been a lockout between a manufacturer, with both drivers winning both races in that weekend. Bianchi trying to go around the outside of Palou now, as is Wirtz on Webber. So both Renaults are moving forwards. Palou a bit later on the brakes, takes the apex. Bianchi with the extra momentum now has the apex for lap turn 2. I'll get there eventually.
Too many variables.
Too many twos. Right. Bianchi, his next target is Ingram in the Volvo. How quickly will he catch him? Because this is looking like it's going to be a when rather than an if.
Lammers has managed to get 3rd then. We've seen that happen in race 1. There's the defending champion ahead. It's yellow and blue on yellow and blue.
Something we've seen quite a lot of in the last couple of seasons since Volvo joined. Bianchi with a wider line kind of misses the apex. You can take a lot of that inside curb and square off the corner a little bit. He doesn't. He's still got Zanardi and Palou within striking distance should he make a mistake. Finally, everybody calms down a little bit.
Nico Wirtz keeping it sensible then. Decent amount of manufacturer effort in the top points paying positions. This is what the locals are here to see. This happening. No matter which way round, green or red, red or green. Verde or Rosso.
This is the order we're used to seeing them in. Of course, Fisichella has car number 3 and Wittmann has car number 4 based upon their points finishes last season. But obviously Wittmann is the 2-time champ. She's proven herself to be the slightly quicker driver out the 2, but that does not mean that Fisichella is slow.
Ingram closing on Katzberg then.
Yeah, looks like he's going to dispatch the privateer with ease. And here is Bianchi on Kubica. So once again, we're going to see Renault versus BMW. Kubica seems to have a little bit more straight line speed than Webber does, so I think it's down to more setup rather than the car.
And down to brakes then, and a decent racing line through the waterfall. Bit of a cut, no doubt. Wirtz getting 1 more place on Palou then. Up to 9th, Nico goes.
Now that he's calmed down, he can start slowly and methodically working his way around these cars and picking them off one by one now that we're not in large clumps and scrums or trying to go for the same apex at once.
3 laps in, Bianchi with the fastest lap so far. That's a statement of intent right there.
Zanardi very much in the danger zone now with a Renault in front and a Renault behind.
Katzberg now holding up Kubica. We've seen the wide line from those Renaults before.
You can make it work. You can unwind the steering wheel there and get a better speed coming out the corner. But there's Wirtz sending it on
then.
Zanardi. Now, the 2 Renaults need to be careful not to start fighting each other, otherwise that will really put a kibosh on their plans.
Something they did not do in race 1. Something that the Alphas seem very close to doing right now, having a little bit earlier, forming a bit of a gap, but there's Lammers closing in very slowly. Fisichella then being very consistent, more consistent than Wittmann last season, not the title that last year, but Alpha certainly expected. They didn't expect the Volvo to do so well. And wait a minute, have we seen Wirtz gain about 3 places?
Oh, you didn't see it in the background of Wittmann's onboard camera. This lot were 4 wide going through the waterfall turn.
So the doubt we had earlier about can this happen is very much on. Let's go back to that then. Of course, apologies if I missed it, but yes, here's the traffic jam then.
Katzberg leading. There's the BM with its slow straight line speed. Wirtz just sends it on everybody, and Bianchi manages to keep momentum around the outside using the banking of the corner.
Absolutely. Long-term repercussions perhaps then. Wirtz has got the positions, but has he got the car to do it if that's a bump on Katzberg's Tamiya Honda?
Should be alright. The car doesn't look like it's crabbing or struggling in any way, but obviously need to give it a lap or so. And now that he's in clean air, it'll also be interesting to see what his lap time will be next time by.
We saw a purple sector just then.
Bianchi
the team with a faster lap. Ingram wide line, like you've exemplified earlier, that it is possible, and proof enough right there again.
Lammers looks like he might send it on the Volvo. No, backs out of it, thinks better of it. So that is 3rd place for the Volvo, but Wirtz is already there.
Austrian is gaining. Definitely gaining. There's Lammers right in front of him.
Bianchi not that far behind either now that he's got around Kubica. The march of the Renaults continues.
Proof enough for the fastest lap right there as well. 2 whole seconds faster than his best so far, but obviously there was traffic involved those earlier laps. Another sector coming up, and another purple, but that could be all for naught if these 2 hold him up.
Oh, that's from miles back.
Happened again. Difference being that Lammers was a bit more defensive.
That was a little bit too far back to be doing a send like that.
Has to be said, the Tamiyans have been relatively quiet for a good couple of seasons. This is probably their best outing.
Yeah, they had the one surprise win with Sakon Kobayashi a few seasons ago at Interlagos. But this is definitely their best overall season so far. Seeing as Misha Katzberg has 2 podium finishes so far, so they've definitely found something within those cars.
High-speed wrestling match between Lammers and Wirtz then, as Wirtz gets the momentum but fended off by Lammers. It's going to be a braking job for turn 1, but here comes Bianchi. This is the thing that we were worried about then. Bianchi's got the fastest lap back and is now in 4th position, not only ahead of his teammate but holding up to prevent him getting past Lammers as well. Teamwork in question then.
Either way, good 2-for-1 offer on Bianchi there. Wirtz had to just lift a little bit because of Lammers' lack of momentum down the start-finish straight. Wirtz didn't have anywhere to go. Bianchi took full advantage of the situation. I think Wirtz is going to probably send it on Lammers here into the waterfall. He's definitely close enough.
It's on. The form is there, the power is there, the braking and the racing line.
Not quite.
Maybe not there. Okay.
The Honda has got just enough straight line speed, it seems, to hold them off. Whereas they were able to outdrag the BMW and make it look easy. The Honda, not so much.
Encroaching on halfway then. The Alfa 1-2. Keep the locals happy. But we're obviously anticipating
There he
that
goes.
runaway success from race. Okay, there's Lammers up to 5th through Rabbit 2.
I will note also the two Alphas have swapped. Fisichella now leads over Wittmann. We've missed that at some point, but understandably so with what these Renaults are doing. And there goes Wittmann having a look to try and take the lead back. I'm not sure this is the smartest thing to do given what those two Megans are doing.
Yep.
But either way, they're putting on a show.
Both Alphas and Renault in the same shot. That case of when, not if.
And the one odd one out Volvo just doing well to hold his own there. Yeah, they've already dropped Lammers in 6th.
What a turnaround.
Ingram with the defensive line into the waterfall turn. Wirtz with the send on his teammate. There goes Bianchi back again. Never mind,
Thankfully
they've swapped
not
over
wide
again.
in the gravel.
Ingram is now going to have to make that the widest Volvo in all of the land.
And, well, there's the defence right there, but will it be enough? For at least this lap, yes. But then, final turn inbound after these S's.
We'll see what kind of lines they take through the final corner, what kind of runs they get going into turn 1.
That's line up, that's going to throw a bit of shade on Ingram's line through the final bend.
Yeah, Wirtz with a slightly wider line than the Volvo. He's got the momentum, he's having a look.
And
Ingram, late as he dares on the brakes, turns in, chops the nose, slams the door.
Almost thought it was happening then.
I think so did Nico
This lap,
Wirtz.
no doubt.
Ingram with the better exit through there. Though we've seen how quick this Renault is in a straight line going up here. Yeah, he's already catching. Ingram is going to have to go mega defensive into the waterfall turn. There he goes. But I have a horrible feeling Wirtz is going to be clear before we even hit the braking zone. Ingram going to try his best, but not quite. So Wirtz almost has it done. Ingram is going to send it back on. There's a fight for the lead going on at the same time. And now Ingram slots back in behind. So Nico Wirtz has been released, as it were. Free to go chase down the two leaders.
Ever closer. The Alpha board will no doubt want to have a word about. It's not essentially a poor season, but they really wanted their home team to shine around here. It's Renault that have been the brightest star in the field. And it's happening. Yeah, there's 6 to go, and this Renault is unstoppable.
And impatient, apparently.
Wittmann getting ahead of Fisichella then, but Wirtz giving Fisichella a bit of a wake-up call and a bit more momentum to lose. You can see it's closing in. This is.
As I said, when Renault gets it right, they are terrifying, and this is why there is no stopping them. Especially with Nico Wirtz's experience and talent, as he proved at Volkswagen back in the day. Wittmann better on the brakes.
Wirtz will no doubt be incredibly pleased with how this season is going compared to his Volvo days, his Volkswagen days. Especially lulling about in a Golf when the Scirocco in the old regs was doing the business.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Ingram still holding up Bianchi, so he's managed to do to Bianchi what he couldn't do to Wirtz so far. Don't know if that fight's over yet. Here comes Wirtz. He's going to try and do the round the outside trick, or he's not.
Down the inside.
Down the
well,
inside
then.
instead, or outside. He's going to do both. Keep us guessing.
Wittmann was expecting the outside run. I think the message got through the radio, but
oh, there he goes.
There we go. It happened. I think Wittmann might want to put up a stronger fight on the exit. Not like that, she doesn't. Wow.
There we go. From 10th to 1st in 11 laps for Nico Wirtz. He's already off up the road.
So can Bianchi now claim those other 3 places in front?
Well, he's a bit far back on Ingram to try anything just yet. Misses the apex again. Don't know if that's a deliberate thing, whether they're doing that to try and get speed elsewhere. Meanwhile, we've got a Honda civil war going on for 6th place. Lammers has caught Zanardi.
Both Hondas then sensibly placed, despite the hyper team of Renault stealing the thunder right now. Honda primed to be contenders for the rest of the season then, if they perform off results like this consistently enough.
Yeah, Lammers already has 2 wins this season. They've got a slew of podium place finishes. They've only had 1 finish outside the top 10 for both cars, and that was Lammers at Dragon Trail last time out. That is exactly the kind of consistency you want and need for a championship run. So Honda might be the quiet favourite here, despite the theatrics of Renault. And now we're all just calming down again, doing a bit of formation flying.
Ingram still doing well to hold up the other Renault then.
Yeah, Bianchi's a bit closer this time though. I wonder if he's going to try something. He's having a look.
No doubt it is equal components for both Renaults then. It's just the luck of the results that's led Bianchi to be stuck behind Ingram so far. Familiar territory for both. Nice and clean so far, touch wood.
Couldn't do anything through the waterfall. We've seen people overtake through the rabbit ears. It's not necessarily the best overtaking spot. Bianchi has a little look, tries to fill the mirrors of Ingram. Meanwhile, Ingram is backing up the Renault into the 2 Hondas by the looks of things. Zanardi's taken that place back off of Lammers.
And a sensibly placed Katzberg being a bit of a cork in the bottle for the mid-pack, having their own tussle. Including Palou, Kubica and Webber. The BMW's having a quiet one.
Yeah, just sat here slap bang in the middle of the field. Best of the rest, as it were, in that grouping. All racing for the last of the points-paying positions here, with Liotzi in 15th. And of course, as soon as we go to look at the midfield, Bianchi gets around Ingram.
Well, that was to be inevitable, really, wasn't it? Now, can Bianchi make this a 1-2?
Oh God, are they going to go?
No, they're not. But Fisichella is down the inside of Wittmann. Push almost onto the gravel there, dust flying up.
Yeah, that's something we've seen in races here in the past, is people do some serious rally crossing on the exit of the waterfall turn. Haven't really seen that this time. Just the odd wheel, but not a full send.
And it's starting to get a bit glary, and some of the cars have decided to put some of the beams on, low beam, for some of the shade.
something to note that even though Wirtz has taken the lead, he's not pulling away as much as he was last time. Here comes Ingram with a run out of nowhere. Now they're going to go three wide to turn one. Okay, never mind.
Maybe not.
Oh, Ingram,
hang on.
Ingram pushed Wittmann past all of them into turn one.
Fisichella still in second. Then 2 more laps of drama. Then Wirtz could. We thought it was on. The gap is definitely there with a lap and a half of goodness to go. Ingram being... that was almost too aggressive. That Renault has lost a bit of momentum then as Ingram gets back up to fourth for a fraction of a second. Another fraction here, perhaps?
Not quite. The Honda Civil War continues behind them. But that has given the Alfa Romeo some breathing room now. I don't know if it's going to be enough because Bianchi's already heading back towards them. But Ingram is doing his damnedest to be the spanner in the works for the Renault 1-2. Wittmann going defensive into the last corner a little bit. Which way is Bianchi going to go? Is he going to try anything? There's the wide line once again. Oh, he's got alongside Wittmann this time.
Wittmann. Getting it right, going wide for once. For an overtake, at least. The momentum has always been there.
Oh, is he going to do a 2 for 1? Nearly. Oh. Shoves Fisichella a little bit. Fisichella's got the preferred line for race lap 2, turn 2. He's done it again.
But Fisichella expected that level of aggression, countered it, didn't spin. That could have ended up a lot worse.
Absolutely.
Lap to go. Fantastic battle for second then as Wirtz still gives us a first 6 seasons into the World's Super Tourers. But I'm going to have to eat my words. The top 7 then, 6 of them favourites for the title in the manufacturers, favourites for the title of the Drivers' Championship as well, including one not necessarily a straggler, just an outlier in the defending champion in a Volvo. Alfa doing very well at home, but not well enough. Renault, however, has shut everybody up, no doubt, for the time being. Wiggle on for Bianchi then. Podium is on. Second place might still be on. And boy, oh boy, did we not expect... Well, did we expect it or did we not expect it? Not at the start of the season we didn't. And not before race 1, but for race 2, Wirtz has pulled off the double. And it's not going to be a 1-2. It's a third place finish for Bianchi then. The top 7 across the line. Here's the best of the rest then. Palou's Ford, Katzberg's Privateer, Tamiya Honda, and Kubica. Better days for BMW have been and gone, and hopefully they'll come back again. The top 15, all the points paying finishes, and then the Privateer clan. And another DHL last place finish. An entertaining weekend, no doubt, despite the domination of a team that really want to do some good for a change. Will we see more of this throughout the rest of the season? We shall have to wait and see. But boy, oh boy, that was a tense one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, massive well done to Nico Wirtz. Obviously, he's now made World Super Touring history. As we said, Gianni Liozzi managed to do it in the European Super Touring Championship, but this is the Worlds. This is the big leagues.
The big one.
Wirtz proving that he's a champion for a reason. And as I said before, when Renault get it right, they're terrifying. And they proved it again. Whether they can keep this up, that remains to be seen, because, of course, we've seen this level of terrifying from Renault before in the past, only for it all to mean nothing. I mean, there's a reason why they are cars number 5 and 6, after all.
will they get 1 and 2 for season 7? That's what the next 8 weekends will have in store. They are flying on the Manufacturer Championship and in the Drivers' Championship then. So Wirtz on 163 after this one. Bianchi getting up 2 places onto 129 points, overtaking both Lammers and Zanardi. Consistent Honda finishing. Bianchi has Zanardi has overtook Lammers then. 4-point advantage. Zanardi 121, Lammers 117. Ingram on 97, still a consistent 5th after a bit of a botch start at Interlagos for round 1. The manufacturers then, it's going to be Renault, no doubt about that, and Honda second, no doubt about that as well. Volvo clinging on to 3rd through the crumb of comfort that has been Ekstrom's points and the solid performance of Ingram in amongst the dominant forces of both Alfa and Renault then. Alfa have had some work to do to gain on that. It's a 2-point gap between Volvo and Alfa, and that tide will no doubt turn when we head to Catalonia in a fortnight's time. Privateers then. We need to look out for the Katzberg in was effectively 7th overall, and that's going to be a solid amount of points to be keeping hold of to defend the lead in the Privateer Championship. It just depends if there's any other surprise underdog finishes that are higher up than that could mean the likes of Biela, his teammate, who is the only one close enough to do that, with Jaime Garcia in 3rd. As for the teams then, it is definitely Tamiya's for the taking, but PKP, a solo PKP effort, could be a potential threat. Cobra Motorsport having a fantastic start-up year last year, starting to struggle. 93 points then for Tamiya in the Independence Championship, 37 for Cobra, and 16, only a 2-point gain for PKP, but it's enough to give Cobra a worry, because Cobra haven't scored at all. Catalonia then, testing venue. Fingers crossed we see some excitement there. I believe we are using the South variant with the chicane that everybody likes. But yeah, me and Swinney will be there for that one, no doubt about that. So we'll see you there. Good racing, everybody.